Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Craig, for leading in that beautiful start to the day. We thank each and every one of you for being here and for what you do to support our community. I'm Susan McPherson with the Columbia Chamber, and on behalf of all of our Chamber team, welcome and thank you. I would like to call on Matt Medley, our sponsor now, to give us a sponsor break. And thank you, Matt, for being here and for all you do to support Chamber programs. Thank you, sir.
Well, good morning, everyone. When you wake up and it's your turn to give a speech up here, you kind of hope not everyone shows up, but then you see all the smiling faces. And so just honored to be here. So my name is Matthew Medley. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at MUSC Midlands, and so proud to serve the community. I've been here for almost a year, and it's been an incredible experience thus far, and it's been made possible by all the people. Hey, Boom. That I've got to know throughout my time here. And so on behalf of MUSC, we're really excited to be here in the community and serve. We've got a lot of exciting, great things, but we're just honored to be a part of the Midlands community and to serve each and every single one of our patients in the community on a daily basis. If there's anything that we can continue to do to support any of your organizations, please let us know and we'd be honored. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate that. And now I would like to call on our fearless leader and President and CEO, Mr. Carl Blackstone. Thank you.
Good morning. Seriously? Okay, a little do-over here. Good morning. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Hope y'all have had a great summer. Nice to be back with you. As I mentioned to a few of you, July is pretty much an off month for us as we try to regroup and plan for the year and et cetera, et cetera. This morning was early. If we've not been up this early in a while. So thank y'all for joining us, and feel free to stop and get coffee as you need it. I will be doing that. Anyway, we're glad y'all are here with us. We really want to thank Segra for hosting us. Some of the best grits in Columbia right here. They do a phenomenal job for us, so we appreciate them very much. David Looper, our chair, could not be with us today. He's dropping his kid off of school. We certainly understand that. So he wanted to send his apologies. But it's a great day for be here, and we are delighted to have our special guest. I'm going to jump right in due to time, but we've got a representative from Boeing here, Swati Patel, and Swati has been around Columbia. Well, let me get it right. She's actually from the electric city of Anderson, South Carolina, and came down to Columbia to go to school and never left. Well, she left for a second, but she's been here for most all of her time. Swati and I have known each other for a long, long time. Met her when she was working at the House Judiciary Committee. She worked at the State House for a long time. We worked together in Governor Mark Sanford's office. She has been a staff attorney at the Judiciary throughout, I guess, the council's office, legislative council. Then she was legal counsel for the governor. She was legal counsel for Nikki Haley. She ended up being chief of staff for Nikki Haley. Don't you hate it when people that you grew up with are just so outpaced you? It's not even funny. So she was chief of staff for Nikki Haley. She worked at the state chamber, and now she is with Boeing. But Swati brings a wealth of experience, and Boeing is certainly lucky to have her. But we're lucky to have Boeing in the state of South Carolina. And what I think is important, part of this group is, and this audience, is to know what's going on in Columbia, but also what's going on in the state of South Carolina. Because our state of our size, we are so small, and if we don't recognize and celebrate what we all have, then what does it really mean? And we as a state that as a relationship state that we have in South Carolina, if we can embrace everything that we have, the good, the bad, the ugly, it really means more for us. But one of the best things that ever came out of South Carolina was in 2004. There was a small project that was shopping around the Southeast, and it was a partnership between Vought Aircraft and Alenia Aircraft out of Italy. And it was a joint venture called Global Aeronautica. And they were making the fuselage for the new Boeing plane. And they were building it here in South Carolina in Charleston. And they were shipping the plane, the body of a plane, in another plane across the country to Washington State for final assembly. But what it really meant was, if you think about this today, was a precursor to other manufacturing opportunities that this state has. Not only were they just building a piece of a plane and flying it back, which they end up coming, I'll let her explain all what they're doing, but it's such a huge production right now down in Charleston. But it bleeds into us, and we have some suppliers here in the Midlands that make a lot of money off of what they do down in Boeing. But more importantly, that idea of doing stuff here and then or bringing things in for final assembly, that's exactly what they're doing at Gallo. Gallo's bringing grapes from California and bottling in Chester. And so many of the great wines from Gallo are being produced in California, but bottled right here. And so you're going to see more of that as cost of delivery is so expensive. What are other things that we can do in South Carolina to position ourselves for more job growth? And Boeing really spearheaded that back in 2004. So without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Swati Patel with Boeing.
Hey, good morning, everyone. All right, I'm not going to be able to see my screen back here. All right, if it's okay, I'm probably going to do a little walking and talking at the same time, so bear with me for a second. All right. So thank y'all for being here so early in the morning. Clearly, the breakfast must be phenomenal for this many people to be here because, in all honesty, I am not a morning person. So I've already had my second cup of coffee. But no, really, thank y'all for coming out to, obviously support the Columbia Chamber of Commerce. I got to say, I do talks like this ever so often around the state, and coming to the Columbia Chamber is especially exciting for me because this is my home. I live in Columbia. My son is actually about to start at the University of South Carolina next week as a freshman. So go Gamecocks, yes. I am a double alum of USC. My husband goes to USC, so it's a long line of Gamecock in our blood. And my daughter, she's starting as a freshman at Spring Valley. They started last week. So Columbia is special. It is our home. And again, I'm super excited to be able to talk to you about the company I work for, the Boeing Company. I started at Boeing about 2 years ago. And as y'all just heard from Carl, my service really has been here down the street at the State House for pretty much most of my career. So transitioning to Boeing was certainly a pretty big leap for me. It is a huge company. I can't even begin to tell you. I thought working for state government was going to be, complicated and complex, but no, working for a company like Boeing, that is a global company that has so many different units and responsibilities. It's certainly been a learning experience for me, but very grateful to be there. So what I wanted to do today is really just kind of give you an overview of what we do at Boeing, where things stand today, and what we're thinking about doing in the future. So I'll get started here. Make sure my clickers are working. Yep. All right. I went too far ahead here. Okay. All right. So just big picture, the Boeing enterprise. Y'all know that down in Charleston, North Charleston, I always have to say that we are in North Charleston, not Charleston. The mayor gets really upset when we don't aren't clear about that. We build the 787, so that's one of our commercial programs. But the enterprise, of course, is much bigger. So we have 3 business units at Boeing: commercial airplanes, which I know y'all are familiar with, defense, space, and security, and also global services. And so I think most people are familiar with the first two. Global services is basically we build the planes for you. And then when the plane leaves the factory, we help service and maintain those planes for you. So those are our three primary business units. I thought it'd be interesting to share some data points I just got hot off the presses from my team yesterday that y'all might be interested to hear. So, nearly every second, a Boeing commercial or defense product takes off and lands somewhere around the world. Our airplanes have carried the equivalent of more than double the population of the planet. And in the US, 2.9 million people fly commercial every day. Globally, there are 94,000 commercial flights daily. So I say all that to say what we do is critically important for our customers, our flying public, but also the country at large. And so, again, just super proud to work for a company that, has a big impact like that. All right. So again, just talking about the enterprise as a whole, we're still the leading global aerospace company in the world. We have about 12,000 vendors and suppliers, about 170,000 employees globally, located in about 65 countries. Our customers are pretty much you name the country, that country is probably our customer. We have customers in 150 countries around the world. In addition to building the airplanes and maintaining the airplanes, we also do a ton of R&D. So we have several research and development centers around the world, including one right down in Charleston, North Charleston, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. All right, so some quick facts about Boeing South Carolina. So we've been here for a little over 12 years. We currently have about 7,800 teammates. That number is growing, I'm excited to say. And I think the most important number on the screen to me personally is that we take our community and the need to support our community very seriously, and not just in the low country, but around the state. So we had intentionally decided to call ourselves Boeing South Carolina because we wanted to, be that company that, understood what the state and its people have done for us and give back more than that we have received. And so most of our other sites are actually Boeing Puget Sound, Boeing St. Louis, but here we are Boeing South Carolina, and that was done on purpose. So giving back to our community is a huge priority for us, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. And y'all, this is very interactive. If y'all have questions, feel free to raise your hand, ask them anytime. So I have a lot of numbers to throw at you, so I apologize for that. So Boeing's impact in South Carolina, I'm just going to point out a few numbers here. So in terms of our capital investment in the state, we're at over $2 billion of capital investment. That's grown over the 12 years. And again, that number does continue to grow. In terms of our vendors and suppliers in the state, we're at over about 170. And in terms of the aerospace economic impact as a whole, so not just Boeing, but Lockheed and other aerospace suppliers and vendors, we're looking at $28.8 billion. Now, this number is based on a 2019 study that the South Carolina Competitiveness Council did. So that was pre-COVID. We do expect a new study to come out later this fall. Interestingly enough, I've gotten a little bit of a sneak peek of it. It will show, I think, a really positive story on how the aerospace industry in the state has recovered pretty well. And so, given that, obviously the pandemic really crippled a lot of the industry for, a good solid 2 to 3 years, you'll see, I think, when that study comes out, a really pretty solid recovery. All right, so this is my favorite slide here. So Boeing's impact in Colombia. We are so proud to be able to support, like I said, not just the low country, but all of the state. And Colombia happens to be one of those areas that we have a pretty strong presence, I would say. And so in terms of suppliers and vendors, we have about over a dozen or so located in the Columbia area. As far as the things that I really care about, which is our community partners, we have well over a dozen community partners in the area too. One of them, Big Red Barn, is right here in the back. So really excited that y'all are here. And we've been a strong supporter of what they do to support veterans up in the Blythewood area for quite some time now. In addition to Big Red Barn, we've supported Turn 90, which is a wonderful program a workforce development program for our formerly incarcerated. You'll see down here the Boeing Observatory. Hopefully, y'all have been out there. The State Museum is actually in the middle of a new campaign, and we're excited to be able to partner with them on this new campaign to renovate their facilities here, I think, over the next few years. University of South Carolina, a huge partner of ours. They are considered a partner school. So we have 3 partner schools in the state: Clemson, USC, and SC State University. What that means is we give annual gifts to them. We've been doing that for many, many years. But in addition, we also find ways to partner with them. One of those ways a couple of years ago was to support a new endowed chair position at a public service and civic engagement named after Jim Clyburn and his wife, Emily. So that was a really exciting thing to be able to participate in. McNair Aerospace Center, of course, a great center at USC that we've also supported over the years. And the last thing, the last picture down there in the corner, that is my kids' high school, Spring Valley. We were able to do what we call Boeing Days. This is our community engagement kind of program that I run with a wonderful team behind me. And we go to schools all over the state and gather at groups like this and basically just kind of bring Boeing on the road to all the counties in the state. So we've been to all 46 counties twice. And so we're looking to do tour number 3 this year. This is kind of technically a tour stop that I'm doing right now. But we did Spring Valley as one of our high schools, as well as many other schools, Midlands Tech. So again, just a number of wonderful partners. Columbia Urban League is a huge partner. Brooklyn Baptist is a partner. We just love this area and continue to support it. All right. So how many of you here have been to the Boeing site down in Charleston? Yeah. Fantastic. All right. So I'm going to try to bring a little bit of the site here to you and show you some fun pictures. So we have 2 primary campuses that make up Boeing South Carolina. So the airport campus, this is where we have the primary production for the 787. So all parts of production happen at the airport campus, which is right next to the Charleston Airport. And then a little known campus that most people I don't think you're even aware of. Are y'all familiar with what we do in the North Campus? Anybody? So North Campus is actually, it's not super new, but we do have 2 new programs that we run there. So we have 3 programs there: propulsion, Boeing Research and Technology. And I mentioned to y'all earlier that we have a handful of research and tech sites around the world. There's one right down there. And this is in Ladson, South Carolina. So it's about 10 miles up the road from the airport campus. And then we also have something called Interiors Responsibility. This is where we build the interior parts of the plane, like stow bins and partitions and, where the flight attendants and pilots can sleep. So all of those parts of the plane are actually built right there in Ladson, South Carolina. And part of these programs not only support 787, they also support other airplane programs and defense and our Boeing Global Services. So, the fact that we're expanding in South Carolina like that kind of goes to show, the fact that South Carolina's been really good to us, and, we want to give back to the community as well. And, we found a good business reason to continue to expand here. All right. So why do we come here? So it's a good segue. I'm just going to highlight like 3 different things. Obviously, no company chooses to come to a state unless they feel like the workforce is going to be ready and capable. And so that was really our number one reason for choosing to come to South Carolina. Obviously, we had, Vought and Global Aeronautica building the fuselages, but that in and of it by itself was not a reason to come and actually start an entire production line here. We had to have that workforce. We had to have favorable business climate. I mean, you really can't get a better business climate than right here in South Carolina, especially when you compare the other regions of the country that we're in. We talk all the time. I talk to my counterparts in Washington and other parts of the country, and they are constantly playing defense in their state capitals. We don't have to do that here. We have such a wonderful business climate and very supportive community and education partners as well. So that's kind of the third thing I would mention. Trident Tech, a huge educational partner to us. Without them, we could not do what we do. They actually helped us stand up, along with SC Ready, our new training facility. We still use and work with them hand in glove every day. And so having that strong support from our education partners was critical as well. All right, I'm going to just highlight a few things here. I think actually Carl did a fantastic job of kind of running through the history, but 2009, that was really the time when the decision was made for Boeing to come to South Carolina. I remember it well. I was in the governor's office working for Governor Sanford. The State House was abuzz. It was such an amazing story to see, Boeing lands in South Carolina. So remember that headline. It was super special. And just to be on the other side of that now, working for the company that we all kind of help recruit, is really cool. The other thing I'll note, because my former boss is in that second picture, 2011 is the groundbreaking for the final assembly, or the ribbon cutting for opening of our final assembly factory. And then 2012 is when we delivered our first plane to Air India. The most important date here to know is 2021. So in 2021, the company made the decision to consolidate all of its 787 production in North Charleston. So before then, we've had a line up in Everett, Washington. So they built one line. They built planes on one line up there, and we had one line down in North Charleston. We decided that it was time to move the entire 787 production to North Charleston in 2021 for a lot of different reasons. But the fact that we had the capacity to grow down there was really one of the main reasons that we chose to do that. And so it just made sense. And so now we have all of our production down there. We opened the second line actually in January. So now we have two lines running, building our planes down in North Charleston. All right, so now I'll talk to you about our plane. So 787 Dreamliner. How many of y'all have flown on a Dreamliner? Anybody? Just a handful? I know you have pilots. I know Sutton's husband he's a pilot for and flies 787s. So this is the only true wide body family. What that means is this is the only wide body that has variants. We have a 787, 8, 9, and 10. So there's no other wide body in the world that has those types of variants. We are also one of only 2 sites in the world that builds a wide body jet. So we have the 777 up in Everett. And then, of course, that company out in Spain that we don't like, France, that we don't like to talk about. They, of course, build their wide body jets out there. And then the third is North Charleston. So that's pretty cool. North Charleston, Everett, France. Only places that build a wide body jet. All right, so production cycle. I don't know if y'all can see any of these little pictures here, but there's a really cool video on YouTube that actually shows how the 787 is assembled. You just have to Google it. It's really cool. All I can show you right here are some slides, though. So we are known to be a freezer to flight factory. What that means is we not only assemble the plane, we also fabricate the plane. So we fabricate the aft body, which is in that first picture up on the top left. Fabricate the aft body of the plane. We assemble the mid body, and the forward fuselage and all of the other parts and pieces. And then we come to, and that's done in the final assembly building. We come down to flight line. I don't know if you've driven past our site, but you'll see planes parked all along the outside of our factories. That's still part of our assembly process. So we're assembling the plane inside, but then outside we're also doing testing of all the different systems, and all of those have, our flight line workers working each of those stalls. And so the work on the plane doesn't end once it leaves our factory. So you'll see there flight line, flight testing, and then eventually delivery. So freezer to flight production. All right. So what makes our plane so special? Our plane is the only plane that is primarily made of composite structure. What that does is it makes our plane lighter, it makes it more efficient, it makes it more fuel efficient, and that opens more routes. So we have more routes, direct flight routes, on this plane than any other plane. And so that composite material, which you can see at our factory how they make that, it's really cool. Has made our plane one of the most innovative planes on the market. All right, so we are now logging about 1,900 orders. We have 85 plus customers around the world. I love this slide. It shows all the different airlines. You'll see, obviously, our primary customers are not based in the US. They're global. The important numbers on this chart that I wanted to highlight, just to show you kind of, I was surprised to see some of these numbers, show you like the kind of, it's a good way to kind of quantify what our plane has accomplished, I think, over the last 12, 13 years, which isn't a very long time. 900, almost a billion passengers served, 919 million passengers served. We have new 410 or more new new routes open. So these are, again, routes that did not exist before the 787. So we have that many nonstop new routes opened, and we have logged 28 million flight hours. One of the interesting point on this slide is because our plane is lighter, we use less fuel, which means we put out less carbon emissions. And so we do take a lot of pride in that. And in fact, our customers are kind of demanding that now. So we are kind of in the business now of trying to evolve to kind of next level, how we can better, serve our climate, reduce carbon emissions. And so if I have time, I can talk a little bit about that too. All right, so our plane is a global product. Anybody want to take a guess on how many parts are in our plane? Just throw out a number. Anyone? Too early in the morning? 2.3 million parts go on our plane. So this is just our very large parts, but you'll see our plane is a global product. We have parts that come from all over the world, as far away as Australia, Japan, Italy, and then as nearby as Wichita, Kansas. That's where we have our forward fuselage, comes from Spirit. I'm sure y'all have seen Spirit a lot in the news. It's a company that we are in the process of trying to acquire. But again, you see there that our plane, it's a complex, complicated product. It has layers and layers of, supply chain and innovative, just if you ever have a chance to go to the site and see how they actually put this thing together, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's a pretty complicated process. Okay, if I have a couple extra minutes, I can talk a little bit about sort of the four business units that you don't see a lot of attention on. Interiors Responsibility Center, I mentioned that's in Ladson. This is where we actually make the interior parts of the plane and install them, drive it down to the final assembly site and install. Propulsion, this is where we make the casing for the engine. And we do this not only for the 787, but for the 737 as well. And then I think this is kind of my thing I find the coolest thing. We actually had President Amaritis come down and visit Boeing Research and Technology a few weeks ago. He was just really intrigued about all of the things that we're doing there in terms of innovation. And so what we do here is we have the brightest minds from around the world, engineers, scientists, and they're in there trying to figure out how to make materials that go on planes better, lighter, more durable, safer. And so we actually have a lightning lab where we simulate lightning and, it's really cool, and try to, find ways to test different types of materials. And like I said, we have lots of materials engineers, chemical engineers, all the really smart people work at Boeing Research and Technology. So I don't know if y'all know, but in terms of our defense products, we build the F-15, we build the C-17 here, the Apache. The Air Force Base down in Charleston, of course, is a C-17 base. We have a whole team located there as part of our maintenance and repair operations. And so they're there day in, day out. They're also engineers to support C-17 products. And they do that not only on the base, but also virtually to support all C-17 pilots and the crews throughout the world. And so you see there that this kind of cool picture on the right is one of the last flights going out of Afghanistan, of course, on our C-17 products. Oh, okay. So innovation cells. So this kind of gets me a little excited. Sorry, I know it's still early in the morning. We have at Boeing South Carolina something called an innovation cell, which is on our production floor with our workers. And we started it in Boeing South Carolina because Boeing South Carolina is unique to any other site in the world. We are relatively new compared to the other sites, and it allowed us to kind of do things without mom and dad telling us what to do in corporate. And so they kind of gave us a little bit more leeway to be more innovative. And so we started what's called innovation cells. They have since then, created them in other parts, in other sites. But what this is it's a area that includes, like, it has 3D printers, it has different types of equipment that would allow a mechanic, for example, or an assembler come to a problem solver in there to say, hey, look, I cannot reach this particular area of the plane. Can you build me a tool that's ergonomically better fit for me? And so that's what they do there. They make tools, they make different things to support safety and quality and support our teammates day in, day out. They do that hand in glove with our engineers. So that is different from any other site, especially commercial, that we have, because in Boeing, South Carolina, our engineers and our mechanics and assemblers can work together. We have a rotational program, and I'll show you here, called the KEYS program. And this allows more innovation, more creativity, and really a better product at the end of the day. And we like to brag about this here at Boeing South Carolina because this is where it started, and this is probably where it's best suited because of the work environment that we're in. We have a direct relationship with our employers and employees down at Boeing South Carolina, unlike Everett, which is represented by a union. And so what that does at our site, it does allow us to have more flexibility to step outside of the kind of rules of engagement when you're in a union environment versus a non-union environment. So again, the rotational program, the innovation cells, that is unique to Boeing South Carolina. And those innovation cells have resulted in well over 1,400 patents that our workers have their names on. Okay, so another fun thing that I love to talk about are student development programs. We do lots of developing of our students from um, high school and college. We have all kinds of different programs, youth apprenticeship programs. We have for mechatronics. We have college internships. We actually have a partnership with USC on interns. And then another really cool program that we have are high school summer programs. Um, we have different types of high school programs that support supply chain, engineering. But the one that I want to really kind of talk to y'all about is our manufacturing summer program. This is a new program we started a couple of years ago, where we are partnering with 12 career and technology centers in the Low Country, Horry County, Orangeburg. And we're looking to expand. I'm hoping they're going to expand up closer this way. And so, what it is basically, we are going to go into schools, see career and technology centers, work with instructors there to hone their instruction to meet our skill needs. And it's not just our skill needs, it will support other companies as well. So we kind of give them support, a blueprint to do that. And then those students have an opportunity to come work at Boeing. So if they've got the skills, they come do our summer program, we can hire them right after that summer program. So we just finished a cohort last week of 24 students, half of them seniors, and we were able to hire almost all of those seniors on the spot. And so that's a program we're looking to grow. In Washington State, they have a program there where they've hired 1,000 students directly from high school. So lots of opportunities there that don't always require, that 4-year degree that we offer there. And again, like I said, we have 7,800 employees, and that number continues to grow. I've been almost about to get the hook here. All right, Boeing in our community. We focus on 3 pillars of giving. Our students, our veterans in our homes. My role is government operations, government affairs, external affairs, but I would say I spend most of my time with our community investors. So we are out there in the community, support hand in glove with our kind of philanthropic arm, and trying to kind of work together to find ways to support our communities, not just with government affairs, but also, being in our community. And so we take a ton of pride in that. Again, as far as the veterans groups, like I mentioned, Big Red Barn, we have many veteran partners all over the state. STEM education is critical for us. So we have an education specialist that all they do is go to schools around the state and, talk to kids about the importance of STEM education. That program is called Dreamliners. We now have over 1.3 million students and participants that have gone through that program. That program is also based at our site. So if a school wants to bring their students to our site for an on-site Dreamliner session, that is available to them. And we usually have a long waiting list for that, but we've had so many students and educators come to our site to learn just how, teaching them about the principles of flight and kind of exposing them to aerospace careers. We feel like it's not just the state's responsibility or educators' responsibility, it's employers' responsibility to also go out there and inspire students and kind of make them aware of what, jobs are out there. All right, so I think I need to be done now, is what I'm told. So, sustainable aviation fuel. I just want to say one thing about that. We I've made it a goal to, not just us, but all airlines globally, made it a goal to transition away from jet fuel and to sustainable aviation fuel. This is a biofuel made from any kind of feedstock, from garbage. I'm totally true. Garbage, cooking oil, and agricultural residual products. So South Carolina could be, at least we're trying to advocate, could be an opportunity for us to, have a economic development kind of opportunity for commercializing sustainable aviation fuel. We don't have enough of it now to commercialize. So there's a huge opportunity. The demand is there. We're working with policymakers now on ways that we can really find those, opportunities in the state as well. So I'll leave you with that and, open it up for questions. But again, thank y'all so much for listening to me. I hope you got something out of this. And I have a cool little thing here, one more picture of our airplane. But, we have a long history here. Well, we have a short history, but a long future in South Carolina. Our program's going to be here for decades. So that's exciting for us because, some of our programs in other business units, they come and go. But 787 is so popular and it has such a high demand that we know that this program will be in South Carolina for decades to come. And that's super exciting. So, yep. Okay. I'm done. Yes, sir.
We've been talking about problems in production of the 787. Can you speak to that?
Problems in the production of 787?
That's right.
So, I would say that, and like I mentioned before, our plane flies passengers every single day, thousands and thousands of passengers all over the world. And so safety and quality are critical for us, and that is a top priority. And 787 program is no different than any of our other programs, just like the 737. And so, yes, we are focused on making sure that we are constantly looking at safety and quality. And we have a safety and quality plan that we're forming now to meet, requirements of our regulators. And that, again, that's not just the 737, it's also the 87. And so, all of that is very important. We continue to try to strive to do better on safety and quality, and you'll see more to come on that.
So, hi, Doug Van Dyke, Leadership Simplified.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed your presentation. I think it was terrific, and you're ingrained in the community and what you do for South Carolina. Terrific. So I think Boeing's really solid here. My question dovetails a little bit off this gentleman's, and it relates more to the broader organization. I don't think really South Carolina operations. You probably know where I'm going. In the last few years, there have been issues with the MAX, with Starliner. There's a couple astronauts in space. When I was growing up, Boeing, just such a storied quality organization. And you have a new CEO who's come on board, I think August 8th, Kelly Ortberg.
Yeah.
He's coming from the outside. My question is, are you aware of any culture change initiatives? I mean, where is he looking to move the culture of the organization as you all move forward into the future?
Yeah. So what I'll say is obviously the company has gone through lots of fits and starts over the last 4 or 5 years now. And through that kind of crisis, I think, has come a lot of awareness and acknowledgement of the need to improve safety, quality culture that we've got. And that is an ongoing process. It never stops. It's a daily thing. I can tell you we've had quality stand downs, and that's basically where the factory shuts down for an entire day, which is a big deal for our industry. And they meet with their managers, they meet with engineers, and they talk about different problems that the mechanics and the assemblers and the production workers are having on the floor and how we can solve those problems. And those stand downs happened in the first quarter, so January, February, March. We continue to follow up on all of the different issues that were raised during those quality stand downs. And so this is a process. It's not something where we're going to be able to turn something around in a month or even 6 months. We have a plan that we're required to submit to the FAA. We've done that. We're working through how we can start implementing on different quality initiatives. So, I think at the end of the day, what happened has and will make us stronger. I think it has to. whenever you hit a situation like this and you realize that, you know, we build a plane, we build a product that is very consequential. We can't just like, you know, park on the side of the road if something goes wrong. You know, we have to be perfect every time. And that's tough. That's a tough thing in our business. It's tough when you have 2.3 million parts on a plane. But it is something we strive to do. And it'll be a goal for ours. You know, it'll be our number one priority forever. So, any other questions? Anything?
Thank you so much,
right.
Swati. We appreciate that. And thank you for all that you do for the community. I know you mentioned a lot of great programs for the education. I see Laura back there grinning and thinking, oh, yeah, this is great connection here. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing all the good information. Swati's going to be around after the meeting. So if you have some other question, I'm sure she would be happy to chat with you then. Thank you. We have great coffee and great grits. Thank you so much. And now it is my pleasure to call up Greg Waterstadt with Blue Cross Blue Shield so he can talk a little bit. This is our Partner Perks program. Thank you, Greg. I'm going to let you use this mic if you want.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
Hello? There we go. Okay, Blue Cross Blue Shield, South Carolina. Everybody knows who we are. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you about Blue Cross, although I do work for them. I'm responsible for the Chamber Division and the Association divisions of Blue Cross. Chamber Division is a division through which we work with all of the chambers around the state. We have a portfolio of health plans that are sold through the chambers that help generate revenue for the chambers that go back into the local economy. But what I really want to talk to you about today is an organization that is not a Blue Cross initiative, but it's one that we support wholeheartedly. Kind of like Boeing, Blue Cross wants to be a huge partner in the business community with South Carolina across, you know, from border to border. But we also want to put out resources that make South Carolina a healthier place to live. And one of those is called the South Carolina Healthy Business Challenge. And some of you may have heard of this. Most of you probably have never heard of it. I want to encourage you to look it up. If you have any interest in health and wellness programs for your employees, the South Carolina Healthy Business Challenge, which was started in Charleston about 6 years ago and is now spread across the state, it's a nonprofit organization. We sponsor it, but it is not a Blue Cross initiative. The whole purpose of it is to create kind of a networking and a resource library for health and wellness programs. It introduces other organizations and what they're doing. Companies like Boeing, what is Boeing doing in the way of wellness for their employees? And they open their doors and they welcome you in and they hold programs, constantly have a schedule of events in different places around the state. So if you can look on the slide up here in the top right, their website is schealthybiz.com. I would encourage you to go out there and take a look at that. There is going to be, the chamber is going to host a deep dive in this in January. So this is kind of like your first public address announcement of that coming. So be on the lookout for that. But there are plenty of other events around the state between now and then if you have interest in that. So I appreciate the opportunity to stand up here. I really enjoyed the information on Boeing. It's always good to hear that kind of stuff. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.
And thank you, Greg. We appreciate that. Insurance is critical, and we all appreciate what you do to help us out and to help provide perks for our partners. So I want to bring up Mr. Stephen Morris. He's with the Gatlick Group. This is a new company, a new partner. And so he's going to tell us about some opportunities that he has to share with y'all. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Flip it up.
1, 2. All right, cool. Hey, everybody. My name is Stephen Morris. I'll be very brief. I am the managing partner for the Gatlick Group. We are an actual credit card processing company, and we help businesses to take electronic transactions. In this day and age, the average 30-year-old does not even know how to write a check anymore. Everything is Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, and so forth. And so I've been in the industry since 1996. I remember when we used to put the credit card on the little brick and run the image. I'm giving my age. This is the only job I've ever done since graduating from college in 1996. And so here I am 28 years later, and my job is really to help you guys understand where the credit card processing industry is going. I'm on the board for Visa, I'm on the board for MasterCard, so I am a voting member that talks about where payments is going in the future. Tap to pay is just the beginning. Believe it or not, biometrics is going to be a portion of this later on. So with that being said, we've developed a partnership with the chamber. I am a small business owner, and my job is really just to educate you guys on what you're paying, why you're paying it, and if you should be paying it. We're not in competition with the banks. We actually complement what the banks do because we just do merchant services. So if it comes to your checking or your savings account, that's not what we do, but we make sure that the deposits go to the banks that we partner with. So nevertheless, the Gatler Group, we are a credit card processing agent. We have a relationship with the chamber. So here's what we are proposing. If we cannot help you with your solution or your sales or your process with what you currently have, we're man enough and we're woman enough. Terry Judy is actually our representative with the chamber. We're man enough and we're woman enough to tell you, hey, you know what? You're in a good situation. We don't need the business that bad to where we have to manipulate. Our job is to be honest, be truthful, and be ethical. So at the end of the meeting, if you guys don't mind going back to that table with the white tablecloth, we'll give you some more information. I appreciate the time you guys giving me 3 minutes to talk. Appreciate you.
And thank you so much. I show you the age difference. One of my first jobs at the South Carolina National Bank when I got out of high school was to teach children how to write checks. So the girls at work always say, do you Venmo? And I said, no, I'm not that kind of person. I'm sorry. I'm a paper girl. So, but it is my pleasure to call on Hillary Bell. She is our events director and does much more than that. So Hillary, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you take the show.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's a beautiful morning. I'm just going to go through a couple quick chamber updates, and we get to celebrate some people today. So first off, I would like to introduce you to Donna Ladd. She is our Diplomat of the Quarter. If you guys have not had a chance to interact with our diplomats, you are missing out. Our diplomats are volunteers that are extensions of our chamber staff. They are in the community, they are working in the community, and they are not paid by us. So they do it because they love it. They are reaching out to all of our partners, to you guys in the room, to check in, make sure you have anything. If you need anything, if you have any questions, they can share their experiences, and they're very knowledgeable in all of our programs and events that we offer as well. So they are just there to help you guys, get you plugged in, be another point of contact for you. So if you ever get an email or a call from any of them, please respond, follow up with them, have coffee, meet with them, send them an email, whatever you need, because they're there to help you and to help the chamber. So Donna Ladd is actually our Q3 Diplomat of the Quarter. So she has been to more things that, yeah, I'm going to bring her up. She's sitting back there. I'm going to bring her up here. Come on up here, Donna. We're going to take a quick picture. If we have any of our other diplomats in the room, I know there's quite a few of you. If you all want to head over here, we're going to take a picture with Donna. But we just want to say thank you so much for all of your hard work, everything you do to help further the chamber and what you do for the community as well. So I'm going to give you this. And if you want to head right over there, Susan's going to take your picture. Thank you so much. Okay, the other person we're going to celebrate today is our Partner of the Month. So I know if you have not been out to Hollow Creek Distillery, you are missing out. They're out in Leesburg, so it's Leesville. I'm sorry, it's a little bit of a drive, but they are worth it. Once you get out there, you're not going to want to leave. They brew, I'm going to let them actually talk for a second and share exactly what they do. But if you were at our Power and Heels event, you got to try some of their wonderful vodka that we use for our espresso martini bars, and then our DoubleTree martinis, Bloody Marys. We use their vodka at our golf tournament as well. So if you come to any of our events, you will see Hollow Creek there. You'll see their products being served. We love what they do and what they do in the community. So I'm going to actually bring up Craig. I see Craig and Julie here. We're going to take a quick picture with them and let them share briefly about who they are and what they do.
Good morning. I'll be very brief here. I promise. I'm sure everybody's got stuff to get to. So my name is Craig Amick. I am the owner and master distiller at Hollow Creek Distillery. If you're looking for us, we are 10 miles west of Lexington out on 378 overlooking Lake Murray. Drive on out anytime. It's a bit of a drive. We promise we'll make it worth your while. We distill a pretty wide variety of products, anything from vodka. Little quick note, we won a double gold medal for the South's best vodka last year. to straight bourbon whiskey. And we just won best of class and best of division at Los Angeles International Spirits Competition for one of our bottles of bourbon. So I know I'm biased. I think we're pretty good at what we do. Some people agree. I will tell you about one more thing we're doing and give you an opportunity this morning to kind of participate, help us out. We started a family reserve release. It's a line of experimental stuff for us to see what sticks. Last weekend, we did a blood orange vodka. That went fantastic. We don't have anything this weekend. Next weekend, on Saturday the 24th, we have a blackberry flavored whiskey. It'll be the first time we've ever made it, and we're trying to get the word out for it. So if you pull your phone out, look on Facebook. We posted this morning about 6 o'clock. There's an event. It's you'll see the graphic for it. It basically says Family Reserve Release. The event is August 24th. If you will share that event and then either catch up with myself or Julie right after this, we got a stack of poker chips over there. They're worth $10 a piece. We'll give you one. All you got to do is drive out and redeem it. Thanks for your time.
So, if you were here in July, I was privileged to be a part of the business marketing panel that they hosted, and I got to speak and share about all the things that we do over at Hollow Creek Distillery. And at that event, one of the other speakers presented an idea of writing a personal handwritten note and sending it. So, I challenged you all to send me a personal note. Now, I got 7 of them. And so we sent out 7 cards. So I think that's about 10% of the crowd at that day. And so we're really excited. So hopefully you're going to share, everybody will reach out, share that message that we've got out there this morning so that we can grow a little bit more. And if you haven't been out to see us, please do come see it. It's certainly worth the visit.
You're welcome. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to pass this off. Amy's going to take your picture really quick. Seriously, if you get a chance, drive out there, check them out. It's well worth it. All right. Really quick, I want to recognize a few of our new partners that we have in the room. If you see them, please give them a warm welcome, shake their hand, give them a business card. We have the Unum Center, Mid-Carolina Credit Union. They're out in Northeast Columbia area. Monolith Digital, VHB, SC Quantum, Pro Logistic, and Lumos Fiber. So if you see any of these people, give them a warm chamber welcome. We have a couple events coming back. I know we slowed down a little bit in the month of July, but we are back full force. School is back, events are back, everybody is back and open for business. So we have our partner engagement is actually next Thursday. We're going to be at Experience Columbia in the Convention Center area. We'd love to see you there. That's going to be a really big event and a fun one, just to network and meet some new people, get plugged back in the community. We have our small business breakout next on the August 27th. That's back here in this room, 8:30 a.m. We'll see you to talk about some small business information. We have our military outreach group meeting also on the same day, August 27th. So if you just can't get enough of us, we have 2 events in one day. That military outreach group is a great opportunity to hear what's going on in our military and all of our military community groups as well. So that's going to be at the State Fairgrounds at 2 p.m. on the 27th. And then big events, we have our gala is coming up. So you will have a lot more information coming about that in the next coming couple days. Our gala is October 3rd. It's our 121st annual gala. So if you remember last year, we were actually here at Segra. And so we have a new location to be announced that is coming very soon, but October 3rd, mark your calendars. We'd love to see all of you there. And then our sporting clay tournament is Wednesday, November 20th. That is out in Swansea. So if you want to shoot some clays, have a great time outside, out of the office, there's opportunities for that as well. And you do not have to know how to shoot to show up. We can show you and teach you while you're there. We're very safe about that. So it's a great time. So I hope all of you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your day. We will see you September 11th back here for our next breakfast briefing. Thank you all so much for being here, and we'll see you soon.